My friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is David, and we have a weekend reading report. First one in a while. And part of that's because for the last couple weeks I've not finished much. I've got 3 things to share that I finished, 2 of which I finished in this last week. And then one I think about a week before that. So I finished volume 7 of Northlanders. This is the Icelandic trilogy, and this was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Generational saga. And very, very, very much in the vein of the Icelandic sagas. Can't recommend it strongly enough. Then I finished Beasts of Tarzan, which was really enjoyable. Not as good as the first 2 books of the Tarzan series, but those are hard bars to go past. So I did enjoy it, and it was great getting back to Tarzan. And then just yesterday, I finished The Essential X-Men, Volume 3. So this has got X-Men 145 through 161, and then Annuals 3 through 5. And this one was enjoyable. I found that I had a harder time with it being black and white. Yeah, it's just not as fun when there's no color. I like the affordability, and reading that is better than not reading it at all. But, you know, it's disappointing, to say the least, to read it in black and white. So we have, now we'll get into what I've been reading. And then I've got something really big that I'm going to talk about. At least big for my future plan here. So it's interesting stuff. So I'm almost done working through The Wind's 12 Quarters. These are stories by Ursula K. Le Guin. Buddy reading this with Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads. We've been doing a story a day through most of this month. And we have 2 stories left. And so far, I'm very, very about it. There's yet to be a story that blows me away. They are fine. Early on, you can definitely tell she's trying to grapple with big ideas, but doesn't really understand how to work them into stories that are engagingly written. But yeah, they're fine. I'm looking forward to be done with this. But tomorrow we get the ones from Who Walk Away from Omelas, which I hear on very, very good authority from many people that is the one not to miss in here. And it might be Le Guin's just not the author for me. Kind of like Becky Chambers. I was very about most of Becky Chambers' stuff that I read. So I'm okay with that. Not everything has to be perfect for me. Another one I'm hoping to finish. Maybe if I can get some dedicated reading tonight. This is book 2 in the Legend of the Condor Heroes series. Bond Undone by Jin Young. Kind of fantasy meets Chinese martial arts. Phenomenal. Love it. Every minute of it. I've got the other 2 waiting as ebooks that I'm going to be diving into shortly. Because I need to actually get around to maintaining my way through a series. I'm still chipping away at a distant mirror. I haven't made nearly as much progress as I'd like to, but it is here, and I can grab it as I feel the urge strike. I am, of course, working through Return of the King. I'm coming on the closing chapters there. So this will be done before the end of this month. I'm really enjoying that. And the last one I'm reading is I'm working through a biography, Bowie, by Mark Spitz. And enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. Really, really fascinating, really interesting. And it helps being interested in the subject matter here. I'm about 125, 130 pages into that. Then the last thing I'm reading, my ebook that I'm reading on my Kindle right now is Blood Music by Greg Bear. And, oh man, this is great. Really enjoying it. About halfway done. Throwing my Kindle on the ground. That's okay. Really, really enjoying that. This is my first Greg Bear that I'm reading. I figured that was probably a place to start, knowing it was somewhat shorter and considered one of his best. So, I finished reading a comic with the X-Men. I'm almost done with a short story collection. So I got to thinking, okay, well, what comic do I want to start reading next? And what short story collection do I want to read next? And I got to thinking about that problem. And it really stemmed from the comics. Is I want to read several of them right now. I don't want to wait. So why not just jump into a variety of them? And then I got to thinking, well, I can pick 7, one for each day of the week, and that day is the day I'm reading this particular comic. At least one issue. If I want to read more than one issue, great. If I don't, then I'm reading the one. So I got to thinking today, well, I could do the same with short stories. So I've made pairings. So I will start by showing you my Sunday pairings. I started the comic reading today. I will do the short story next Sunday. And same with the next 2. So I have 2 more stories. So it'll be Wednesday when I start in the short story collections, but I will start the comics now in this cycle. So the short story collection I'm going to do on Sundays is Infinite Stars. I've been talking for a while about wanting to get to this. A big part of it, why I've held off, is the first story in here is like 50 pages long. But it's in the Ender's Game universe by Orson Scott Card. I know I'll enjoy it. It's just a matter of taking the time to dive into it and read it. And it's got a whole bunch of others. I'm excited to get introduced to a lot of new to me universes, as well as revisit some favorites. So every Sunday I will be reading something out of that. And then I have Saga Sunday. So got this nice compendium here. My wife tried talking me into the individual volumes. I said, no, this is what I want. Not only is it half the price, but I just want the one. One. And so I read an issue of it today. Instantly wanted to keep reading. So I ended up reading a second issue and then told myself I should stop. But I might pick that back up again a little bit later. We'll see. I'm going to probably read more Return of the King or A Bond Undone. But I might end up going Saga 2. We'll see. So Mondays, I'm going to start working through the Science Fiction Writers Association Grandmasters. I've got Volume 1 and 3 on my shelf. I've got Volume 2 in an ebook thanks to Steve Donahue. And so I want to work through these. So this has got Heinlein, Jack Williamson, Clifford D. Simak, L. Sprague de Camp, and Fritz Leiber. So a couple of stories from each of them in here. And then it's X-Men Mondays, or Mutant Mondays. So I'm going to start in on the Astonishing X-Men. I've got 4 volumes of this. I think it is a 4-volume arc. So I can read this entire arc. And so I figured that would be a good way. With it being, in color, I can enjoy those more than the black and white. So Tuesday is going to be my kind of oddball day. I've got Asimov's Science Fiction. I picked up the March-April 2023 issue to try this out. Because I would love to subscribe to one of these. I haven't yet. So I picked up one to try out. So this is the one I'm going to try. And we'll see how it goes. So it's got a Greg Egan. That's what won it to me. I looked at kind of the table of contents of Asimov's and Astounding and Science Fiction and Fantasy. And this is the one that caught my attention. Or not Astounding, Analog. And then we have Tales Tuesdays. So Tales from the Crypt, the EC Archive issue 1, or volume 1. So this is my only Tales from the Crypt thing, but, Michael K. Vaughan sent it to me. I want to get around to this. It's not that long. It's, I think, my shortest of the comics that I'll be reading through, but I want to get around to that. Tales Tuesday. So for Wednesday, we have Broken Stars. So this is contemporary Chinese science fiction in translation. So this is got Sixen Liu and Hao Jingfang, and it's translated by Ken Liu. So I'm looking forward to this. And then we have Northlanders. So this is book 3. So this has got a couple of collections in there. This is the last of the Northlanders I need to read. We have Poetry Thursday, so I'm going to finally get back to the best poems of the English language, edited by Harold Bloom. Thought about grabbing something different. I told myself I should get the rest of the way through that. And then I can dive into something like a collection of Keats. And then we have Thor's Day, The Mighty Thor. So this is my Thor epic collection that Michael sent me. And so this is Ulick Unchained. I'll be reading through that. Fridays, we have Rogues by George R. R. Martin. And then we have the last epic collection for Conan that I need to read. And then on Saturdays, we wrap up with Sherlock Holmes and Superman Saturdays. So there you go. That is all. I just wanted to update you guys. Have a great day, BookTube. I will catch you later.